Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, and welcome to the library. On this October 25th, Friday, October 25th, and the Sleepy Hollow episode of The Guild Friday Night Ghost Stories. So let's get the show on the road. We got a lot to cover tonight. I hope you hang around for all of it because it's going to be fun, and we'll see how it goes. So here we go. Going on here? What is there? Oh, we go. Okay. That was weird. Why was there no sound? Anyway, well, thank you, Gianni, for telling me. Okay, sound is back, right? Give me a thumbs up if sound is back. I'm still muted? Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, cool. All right. So, thank you, Gianni. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, arm distance. Plumbing in the house. I saw Carmela. I saw Dave T. I see Paulie Donuts. I see Cranky. I see Carmela. Great to see you, Carmela. Tommy Stiggs. I see William. I see who else? Adam, of course, is here. Tony the Night Owl is here, ready to go. Latin Butterfly. I miss anyone? All right, cool. I think I hit everybody. As more people come in, maybe I'll say hello better. I'll say as they come in, but Gerard was here. Okay, great, excellent. All right, Cinnamon Girl, of course, might be here, but had to go and we'll come back. So whatever. We're good to go. So thank you all for coming, and let's get started. We have a lot to cover within an hour. So just so you know the agenda, I want to give you a short background on the whole legend of Sleepy Hollow. And then we're going to delve into the stuff that I found out about it. Is it real? Is it based on a real story, or is it totally fiction? And I think you're going to find interesting what I found out. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, we'll have our paranormal videos. So anyway, let's start off. I want to start off with talking about the whole story itself. The story was created in 1820 or published in 1820 by Washington Irving. Now, Washington Irving was born in 1783 at the end of the Revolutionary War. So he wasn't there for the Revolutionary War, but he was a child of someone in the Revolutionary War. So he grew up. This was at their time. That was the first generation of Americans, the first generation of real independent Americans, and the lore and legend that went around the whole Revolutionary War effort stuck with those people. And Washington Irving was named after George Washington, obviously, and was probably the premier legend teller or the premier storyteller of his time. And the legend of Sleepy Hollow itself is by most people's account, the first legitimate ghost story in American history, a purely American ghost story that was published, that was widespread and popular. So it's quite an achievement. And as you can see, this book alone right here, this book alone is all his stories. And you can see it's a pretty darn thick book. And I would encourage anybody to, if you haven't read it yourself, read it, because the language is amazing. The writing is amazing. And Washington Irving started writing when he was 15 years old. He was a young writer. And in fact, he grew up in New York City. He was born in New York City. He moved to Tarrytown, New York, which is Sleepy Hollow up north, in the year 1798 because of a yellow fever epidemic that broke out in New York City. So he looked to escape the yellow fever epidemic. He moves to Tarrytown to stay with friends and relatives. And that's where he gets all the ideas from. And we're going to delve into that, and we're going to show you exactly where he got the ideas from. But before I do that, I would like to read to you some of the actual language. And when I do this, I want you to just think about it, listen to the language and think about it, and imagine the imagery that this creates just by hearing this. You know what? I forgot to light my candles. How could I forget candles? Gerard, you should be telling me this. You're the guy that always tells me the candles. Okay. All right. Let's do that. Let's light the candles because we need to do this right. Sorry about that. How could I forget about candles? Okay, we cannot forget about candles. Wait, that's the wrong one. Here we go. All right. Gina, good to see you. I didn't say hello to you. There's one. There's two. There's our backup candle. Right there. That's much better, I guess. Not much better for reading, but it's much better for ambiance. Let's get it going here. What are we doing here? Let's get this going. We need these going. Okay. All right. The Johnny Depp version, I like it, Johnny, but it's not the Sleepy Hollow story. It's not the Sleepy Hollow. It's not Sleepy Hollow. I mean, it has the Headless Horseman in it, but it's not the story. And I'm a purist. That's my problem with that movie. All right, let's put this over here, maybe. Maybe this is better over here. It's more light over there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to play you that. I'm going to read to you for, if you will indulge me for a moment. I want to read to you some of the language, and you listen to it and feel and think about it, and think about the imagery that it creates, because it's the mark of a major talent, a major writer that could create this. At least that's what I experience as I read this. It was the very witching time of night that Ichabod, heavy-hearted and crestfallen, pursued his travel homewards along the sides of the lofty hills which rise above Tarrytown. The hour was as dismal as himself. In the dead harsh of midnight, he could hear the barking, of a watchdog on the other side of the Hudson. Now and then, to the long-drawn crowing of a cock, accidentally awakened, would sound far, far off from some farmhouse away among the hills. No sound of life occurred near him, but occasionally the melancholy chirp of a cricket, or perhaps the guttural thwong of a bullfrog from a nearby marsh. All the stories of ghosts and goblins that he had heard in that afternoon now came crowding up his recollection. The night grew darker and darker. The stars seemed to sink deeper in the sky. In the center of the road stood an enormous tulip tree. Its limbs were gnarled and fantastic, large enough to form trunks for ordinary trees, twisted down towards the earth. As he approached the fearful tree, he began to whistle, and even thought his whistle was answered. As he approached a little nearer, he thought he saw something white hanging in the midst of the tree. Suddenly he heard a groan. His teeth chattered, and his knees smote against the saddle. As he approached the stream, his heart began to thump. Just at that moment, a plashy tromp by the side of the bridge caught the sensitive ear of Ichabod. In the dark shadow of the grove, on the margin of the brook, he beholds something huge, misshapen, black and towering. It stirred not, but seemed gathered up in the gloom, like some gigantic monster ready to spring up on a weary traveler. "Who are you?" He received no reply. He repeated his demand, and still no reply. Though the night was dark and dismal, yet the form of the unknown might now in some degree be ascertained. He appeared to be a horseman of large dimensions, and mounted on a black horse of powerful frame. Ichabod, who had no relish for this strange midnight companion, and bethought himself of the adventures of Braum Bones with the galloping Hessian, now quickened his steed in hopes of leaving him behind. The stranger, however, quickened his horse to an equal pace. Ichabod pulled up and fell into a walk, thinking to lag behind. The other did the same. His heart began to sink within him. There was something in the moody and dogged silence of this pertinacious companion that was mysterious and appalling. On mounting a rising ground, which brought the figure of this fellow traveler in relief against the sky, gigantic in height and muffled in a cloak, Ichabod was horror-struck on perceiving that he was headless. But his horror was still increased on observing that the head, which should have rested on his shoulder, was carried before him on the pommel of the saddle. His terror rose to desperation. So as you can see, the language is unbelievably powerful. And as you listen to that, or if you chose to read it, you actually envision this stuff happening before your eyes. And that is what has made this story so famous and so powerfully legendary. It is the ghost story. It is associated with Halloween and always will be associated with Halloween and any type of scary thing. He's called the Headless Horseman is called the spook of spooks, the ghoul of ghouls. It's the head as good as you can get, so to speak. And it happened in 1820. This story came out in 1820 and it survives today. And it's quite remarkable, if you ask me. So let's talk about how this happened, this story. And is it based on reality? Is it based on truth? Is it a real legend? Is this something that really happened? Or is this completely fictional, made up by Washington Irving? Hello, Toro. Good to see you. Paulie Donuts, I think I said hello to you. Suzanne, good to see you. Well, the answer is, in my opinion, that this is based on true events. And my research, I hope, will back this up to you. Now, here's what I've found. Now, in the story, you have Ichabod Crane, who is the hero, right? He is the protagonist, the teacher of this small town who tangles with the Headless Horseman. You have Braum Bones, who is his rival for the damsel, Katrina Van Tassel. And it all takes place in Tarrytown, New York, or Sleepy Hollow, which is a section of Tarrytown. Now, Sleepy Hollow never existed as a town until the 1990s. Prior to that, it was called North Tarrytown. The township voted to change its name to actual Sleepy Hollow, I guess, for the publicity of it. But it was never an actual municipality or town. It was just a section of that particular area, much like a mailing address or, what have you, a part of that area, not an incorporated type of town. But anyway, so we have Katrina Van Tassel, we have Braum Bones, and we have Ichabod Crane. Those are basically our three main characters of the story. All three of them were based on real people. And I'm going to show you exactly how that is. Now, let's start with Ichabod, our protagonist. Ichabod Crane, where does that come from? Ichabod Crane, the name comes from three different sources. The first is during the Revolutionary, during the War of 1812, which Washington Irving was present at a fort during that time. There was a colonel there by the name of Colonel Ichabod Crane, and he worked he was assigned to Fort Pike in Sachet's Harbor, New York. And he also fought against the Black Hawk War, which were American Native Indians, and the Mexican War. So that colonel was kind of famous. He fought in 3 wars, and but he's nothing like the character. But that's where the name came from. And Washington Irving was fascinated with the name. He really thought it was a unique and powerful name. He wanted to use it in his story. And they say that the actual colonel was not too happy about this because the character is nothing like him. If you read the book or if you've seen the movies or you've seen the cartoon, the Disney cartoon, which I think is probably the best rendition of the original story. The Disney cartoon is probably the best you're going to get out of that because people go in so many different directions with movies. That one is pure to it, but there's been plenty of movies over the time. The Disney movie, not the Disney movie, the Disney cartoon, which was 1949. If you haven't seen it, you must see it. It's a great thing. I grew up with it. I love that cartoon, and it's pure Disney art. It's the classic Disney animation too, which is great stuff. The Johnny Depp movie is nothing like the story at all. Nothing. So that's not what I would ever recommend you. You could go see it. It's good movie to be entertained. It's a great movie, but it's not. If you want to find anything about the story or their origins, I would not go to that movie at all. So anyway, So Ichabod Crane, the Colonel, right? So if you if you read the book, Ichabod is a nerdy bookworm, insecure, scared, nothing like the brave Colonel Ichabod Crane. So he was very upset when this story came out because people portrayed it. They thought that Washington Irving was talking about him, not just taking his name because he liked his name. So that's just an aside to that. There's also there's also some people that say that Washington Irving got it from the Bible because in the Bible there is the name of the son of Phinehas and the grandson of Eli, who was named Ichabod. It's in the Old Testament. So the name is there. So he could have gotten it from that too. I think it's more likely that it came from the colonel because he actually stayed at the fort where the colonel was. That makes a lot more sense to me. But the actual character of Ichabod, how he describes him, how he acts, how the character acts, was based on a friend of Ichabod who was a teacher, much like the person in the story, much like the teacher in the story. His name was Jesse Merwin, and he was very much like the character. He was gawky, thin, gawky, tall, awkward, introverted, loved the girl and didn't want to take action on, that type of thing, like afraid to talk to women, that type of stuff. That was the real inspiration for the character, and it was a friend of Ichabod's that he took it, and then he took the name. I'm sorry, he was a friend of Washington Irving's, and he took the name Ichabod and attached it to the description of his friend. Now, this gets even a little weirder too, because I found out that Jesse Irwin. All right, I'll tell you. Wait a minute. I'm gonna go to the next character first, and there's an interconnection here. I'll tell you this. So we know that Ichabod Crane is really Jesse Merwin, who lived during that time period in Tarrytown, right? And he's named after a general. I mean, a colonel or whatever, colonel from the War of 1812. Braum Bones, right? Braum Bones, who is the antagonist, right? He's Ichabod's enemy in the story. There was an actual Braum Bones, but he was based on two people. He was Washington Irving combined two people for Braum Bones. Two people who actually lived in Tarrytown. The first one is Bram Van Brunt. He was a blacksmith, much like in the movie, or much like in the story, and in the cartoon. He is a blacksmith. The character is a blacksmith, just like the real Bram Brunt was. Bram Van Brunt, the real Braum Bones, right? And then there's also another one, Braum Van Aler. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Now, Braum Van Brunt was more like the character. Brawny, big, strong blacksmith, right? Braum Van Aler was, just a regular guy. He wasn't a big figured person like that. However, this is why he's combined to make the Braum Bones that we know, because while Washington Irving lived in Tarrytown, his friend Jesse Merwin, the real Ichabod Crane, was a teacher there, right? He was in love with a woman and was afraid to propose to her. Well, Braum Van Aler concocted a plan to deal with this and help him out. And the way he did this was he put a sheet on and got on a ghost, and put a sheet on to pretend he was a ghost on a horse. And when Jesse Merwin was coming home from the schoolhouse one night, he chased him. He chased him home. And it was, and at this, when that prank happened, it scared him so much that it scared him into proposing marriage for this woman, and eventually they get married and they go and live happily ever after. They have a family and everything, but they credit their getting together, that ghostly prank that Braum Van Alster committed on him, and Washington Irving witnessed. Now, in the story itself, they talk about this. They talk about how Braum Bones would play pranks on people and pretend to be the headless horseman. So that is all based on reality. That story idea is based on something that actually happened, that Washington Irving witnessed happening while he was in Tarrytown. So that was fascinating to me. All right, so we have, Braum Bones is based on a real person. We know that Ichabod Crane is based on a real person. What about Katrina Van Tassel? Now, the Van Tassel name was a very famous name in that area. It was a very wealthy name in that area. And if you ever go to the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, you'll see Van Tassels all over there. There's Van Tassels all over the place. Now, Van Tassel was a wealthy name from the Dutch that had settled New York. It goes all the way back to, the Dutch coming here and settling in New Amsterdam. So who is the origin of Katrina Van Tassel? Well, there is a real Van Tassel that she was based on, and that person is Elanor Van Tassel. Now, Elanor Van Tassel is buried in, you could see her grave in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. I've been there, and I've seen all of these things, and it was a lot of fun going there and doing this stuff. But let me see if I can show you this. I want to show you the. Let's see if I could show you. First of all, let's see. Here's what Washington Irving looks like. In case you've never seen him, this is a picture, the famous picture of Washington Irving. Now let me see. Let's see. I want to get the. I want to show you if I can. Okay, here we go. This is a little hard to see. But there you are. Elanor Van Tassel right here. This is what the tombstone says. But you can see this, so she was a real person and she's buried there. She's buried in this town. And it is said that Washington Irving basically had a crush on her while he was staying there. She was about 5 years older than he was. And he was a young boy, the young teenager and becoming a man at the time. He had a crush on her and he made her the subject, of the damsel. He made her the heroine of this story. All right, so let's get rid of that. And let me see. So I think I had a picture of one of the Brahms, one of the bones here, one of the Brahms. I thought I had maybe I don't. I have so many things open here. Here we go. I do. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Here is the tombstone of one of the real Braum Bones right here. This is and Braum is short for Abraham. It's a nickname for Abraham. And you can see there's the cartoon rendition of Braum Bones, and there's the Braum Bones from the Johnny Depp movie. And this is Braum Van. It's not Van Alister. It's the other guy. Bram Van Brunt is the. I'm sorry. Bram Van Brunt is the character. This is Braum Martling. That was the burly guy. That was the burly. This is the grave of the burly guy, the burly blacksmith guy. That was really the main character in the story. He was the real physical description. That's where the physical description of Braum Bones, the who was Bram Van Brunt in the story, came from, and he was the blacksmith of Tarrytown, and he's buried there too. So you have Braum Bones is buried there. You have Katrina Van Tassel is buried there. So all real people that lived in that area and are buried in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. All right. So I don't know if anybody came in. I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention. I'm just concentrating. Bill C came in. Hello, Bill C. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Michael Myers Boss. Wow, look at that. Michael Myers Boss. Nice. Well, welcome, Michael Myers Boss. Marta's here. Okay, great. All right, so now, so we know that Braum Bones is real. We know that Katrina Van Tassel is real. Elanor Van Tassel was her name. We know that Ichabod Crane was real. Now, what about the Headless Horseman himself? What about the ghost? Is that a real legend? Well, I'm going to say it is, and here's why. Now, in the year 1776, right on Halloween, was the Battle of White Plains. And the Battle of White Plains, New York, was about 8 miles from Tarrytown. 8 miles, right? It's right there. It's not far. It's 8 miles from there. 6 to 8 miles, depending on how you travel. And there were several skirmishes that happened afterwards, and some of the skirmishes went into other areas close to Tarrytown. And the battle, actually went from I forget when, but it was a multi-day battle. It wasn't just one battle, but there was the battle was on the 30th, the 31st, and there were skirmishes on the 1st of November, October 30th, October 31st, and the 1st of November. Now, during that skirmish on the November 1st, there is documentation in the memoirs, and I'm going to show you this if I can, because I found the actual site in the memoirs of General, what's his name? Hold on. General Heath, who was an American general during the Revolutionary War in Washington's army at the Battle of White Plains. He wrote memoirs after the Revolution of his exploits during the war. And it has been the source of a lot of information. But in his November entry to that, let's see, here we go. Let me see if I can do this. Because this is let's see. I think I got to go to a window here. Let me see something. Because I want to show you this, if I can. I don't know where is it? Here we go. All right. All right. Now, here you have the memoirs of Major General Heath. And on November 1st, the November 1st entry, it states that, let's see, where can I find it? I had it. I don't know where it was. This is November 1st. All of this is a description of what happens on November 1st. And it states that a British artillery, let's see. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Where is it? I can't find it now. Of course, I can't find it. But it says in here that that an American artillery fired, and a Hessian artillerymen. So you had, at the time, at the Battle of White Plains, the Americans were retreating. The Hessians were there. The Hessians were part of the British Army. The Hessians were hired. Hessians were Germans that were hired, mercenaries hired to fight for the British. They had an artillery battalion in that battle. As the Americans are retreating, the American artillery shoots at the British or the Hessian artillery to keep them occupied while the American troops retreat. And in the course of that, a Hessian artillery lieutenant, on horseback, has his head decapitated by a cannonball, by an American cannonball, exactly like the story says. Exactly. His head is chopped off, his head goes off. And not only is it written in these memoirs, it was also written by an American soldier who witnessed it. His name was Anthony Maxwell. He wrote it in his memoirs that he witnessed the artillery officer lose his head as a cannonball took it off. Now you can imagine the horror of seeing that before your eyes, but that's exactly what happened. So we have documented historical proof that there was a Hessian artillery officer on horseback next to his artillery brigade that took a cannon to the head, and his head was gone. And the story goes, right? The legend of the story goes that he was buried in the old North, the North Church, or the old church, the old Dutch church, buried in the old Dutch church, which is right next to and right around the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. It's right there. It's right there. Now, is he buried there? A great question, because there is a story that I found, and it's about the Van Tassel family again. The Van Tassel family. Now, the Hessians were tough people. I mean, they were brutal. They were brutal mercenaries, and they took no prisoners a lot of times. They destroyed a lot of things. One of the things they would do was burn property, and they burned the Van Tassel farm. And at the time, there was a baby. It was a young child there, a young baby that was in the house when they set fire to the house. Now, fortunately, there was a Hessian officer present who ran in to the house and saved the Van Tassel daughter from dying in the fire. And as a result of that, the Van Tassels felt a great deal of admiration and thanks to that Hessian artillery. Hessian. I'm sorry, Hessian. They didn't know if he was an artilleryman. A Hessian officer for saving their daughter from certain death inside there. So the story goes that when this happened on the battlefield, when the Hessian officer lost his head, the Van Tassels, feeling indebted, thinking this might be the guy, this might be the officer that helped and saved our daughter, made arrangements to have his body, without his head though, because the head was gone. The head was gone. Took the body and buried it in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, right next to the Dutch church, the old Dutch church. Now, if you go to Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, you will find an unmarked grave that simply says Hessen Soldier. And this is not a joke. This is not, something that was created. There is a Hessian soldier, excuse me, a Hessian soldier buried there. And I'm going to show you a picture of it, of the marker, if I may. Where did it go? Here we go. Let's see. Can I pull this up? There it is. All right, here we go. This is what it looks like. It's just a simple marker, and it says Hessen Soldier, 1776, right here. That's all it says. That's all it says. Because they didn't know who it was. All they knew was that this was a Hessian soldier's body that they had found without its head, and they wanted to give it a decent Christian burial. And in the slightest chance that it might have been the Hessian that saved their child. So there is definitely a Hessian buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Now, does he rise from the grave in search of his head? Who knows? But that's what the story goes. That's how the story goes. That he would come forth from the cemetery next to the church and proceed to the battlefield in search of his head. The spirit is looking to reunite the head with the body. That's the whole concept of the story. And it seems like there are factual things that occurred in history that correspond with each part of this story. So I thought that was quite fascinating. That there could act. This was all based on a real story, real people that happened. Yeah, Johnny, you know what? Here's the thing. Now, no one has ever dug up that body to make sure there's no head there. All they know is that it's all they know from that is that it's a Hessian soldier. Now, the story that has existed since then, since 1776, the local story has been that it was the soldier that got his head taken off by the cannonball. So I don't know. That's your guess is as good as mine. So it's quite interesting, and it makes the story even more powerful. To me, it makes it more powerful to think of the events that occurred that could very reasonably create a restless spirit that comes forth every night and looks for its head. Now, then the legend goes on to say about how he would, if you have the unnecessary or you have the unlucky fortune to cross his path while he's looking for his head, he might go after yours and take it. So that's the scary part of the story for the mortals that may encounter him. But there you go. That's the story of Sleepy Hollow and the real Sleepy Hollow story that backs it up. The real people that Washington Irving met and knew and helped him put together this classical story that has existed since 1820 and will probably exist forever. Will always be linked to Halloween. The events happened on Halloween. The beheading happened right there around Halloween. The battle was on Halloween. It's quite an amazing turn of events that was all brought together to make this legendary story. So the other thing that I did was I looked into Sleepy Hollow more in terms of what other spirits could there be besides the Headless Horseman in Sleepy Hollow. Everything is not what Washington Irving came up with. There might be others, right? Well, I did. I found some others. I found some other spirits that are present there, which I want to share with you, which I thought was pretty cool too. Now, for those of you who are history buffs, know about Benedict Arnold, was the famous trader, American trader. Now, he was dealing with a British officer by the name of Major Andre. And Major Andre was his contact. Major Andre was who was making the deal with him to buy the plans for West Point, right? So he was part of the whole spy thing. And now Major Andre, when he was going to meet Benedict Arnold, he was captured by American patriots. And the place where he was captured was in Sleepy Hollow. And that tulip tree that Washington Irving describes, as I read, Ichabod Crane seeing, that tulip tree, it doesn't exist anymore. It's long gone. But there's a marker in Sleepy Hollow that shows you where it is. And that's where he was hanged. That's where Major Andre was hanged for treason. I mean, it's not for treason, for being a spy, because he was not wearing his British uniform. He was wearing clothes, and they treated him as a spy. So they tried him and hanged him for spy. Spies always got hanged. Hey, Sliminy, how are you? So since that has happened, there's always been a tale about Major Andre's ghost, who has haunted that spot. And on crisp evenings, the sound of his horse hoofs have been heard echoing down the road that and coming to that spot where the tree was, where he was stopped. So it's the ghost of Major Andre, and it's interesting because that tree, that tulip tree, was struck by lightning in the year 1801. And that was the same time, and it was struck, and they say it was struck by lightning at the exact same time that Benedict Arnold died in Britain on that same day in 1801. That tulip tree, which Major Andre was hanged on, was struck by lightning. So that's a kind of creepy thing that happened in the year 1801. So you have Major Andre's ghost, and they say that you could possibly hear the hooves of his as he was stopped. He was on horseback when he was stopped by the Patriots right there. So interesting, non-written down story, just a word of mouth legend that has existed in Sleepy Hollow for 200 years. So that's one of them. There's also another one about it's called the Wailing Woman of Raven Rock. And Raven Rock is a cliff, like a rock formation, a cliff in Rockefeller State Park Reserve, which borders Sleepy Hollow. And they say that this is a spirit of a woman who was caught in a blinding snowstorm and tried to seek shelter under this rock. And unfortunately, the snowdrifts were so big and so bad that she perished there, never to come out again, never to awaken from her, from hiding from the snow. And it is said that she will appear to people who she believes are lost and try to ward them off of this area, especially in the winter months, that her spirit will appear. And so she is a benevolent spirit. She tries to help. She tries to prevent others from meeting her fate, which was to die in the rocks there in a snowstorm. So she tries to ward off those who she seems coming there in the winter, afraid of the sweeping snowdrifts that might come and take their lives like she lost her. So interesting thing. Interesting spirit, Raven Rock, around Raven Rock in Sleepy Hollow. And then also there's kind of another tale, but I didn't really find much about it, about a colonial woman who fled from Tories and perished in this area of Raven Rock. So I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know about that one because there wasn't much to that. But the Wailing Woman of Raven Rock is said to appear, and she'll be like waving and moaning and trying to prevent you from getting into the rocks and getting caught there. So it's she's a benevolent spirit that helps out weary travelers, I guess, by warding them away from danger. So interesting ghosts besides the Headless Horseman that live in Sleepy Hollow, 2 of them there. All right. So that's the Sleepy Hollow additional ghosts that I found out about. All righty. Now, I wanted to play this for you guys real quick, if I can. I hope it's not a copyright. I think it's short enough that it won't be a copyright. But let me see here. Let me see if I can do this. Well, first off, here's what the old Dutch church looks like, and this is a 1697 structure, built in 1697. I was inside this church. You can go in there. It's open every day. It's a nice little church. It's really small, but you can tell that it's like the Dutch architecture of the time, a Dutch Reformed church. I think this one might be Presbyterian, though, now. But I think it was originally Dutch Reform, and it became Presbyterian over the years. But it's an active church, and it's also a historical site, obviously. And you can go in there. And now in October, like tonight, they're probably doing a reading of the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. They do dramatic readings in here, which I didn't get to attend, but I think that would be very interesting to see that done in the church. So pretty cool historical structure, and it borders up against Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. With all these famous graves. Washington Irving's grave is there. You could see the Van Tassel graves. You could see the, Braum Bones grave. You could see all those things there. It's pretty cool There's the I think there's a Rockefeller buried there. There's also what's his name? Emerson is buried there. So you got some famous people buried in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, and it's a very, very old cemetery, obviously built in the 1600s, originated in the 1600s. So very cool trip if you ever want to see it. If you want to take a trip out there, it's pretty cool. Oh, Slimity is now a member. We have our first member by Slimity. Thank you, Slim. I appreciate that. You're my first member. No one has ever joined. So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Suzanne, we got to get you to be a moderator. So I'll do that after the show. I don't think I can do it from here, but I will come back and make you a moderator. All right. So that's the old Dutch church. What am I talking about? Not the Old North Church. That's in Boston. This is the old Dutch church. Okay. Let's get rid of that. I wanted to play for you a clip from the Disney cartoon, which is my absolute favorite, if I may. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want it to be a copyright infringement, but let me try this real quick. See if I can do this. All right, here we go. This is from 1949. This is the cartoon. Let's see. I don't know. And I don't know if you can hear the sound on this, but I'll try it. You tell me if you can hear it. He's out looking for a head to swap, so don't try to figure out a plan. You can't read. Oh, that's not the beginning of it though. But anyway, it's just a short clip, and it's a Walt Disney cartoon. It's by Bing Crosby narrates it. You know, it's got the 1940s swing to it. I have this on DVD, so I watch it whenever I feel like it. And there's your Headless Horseman right there. So, I mean, if you haven't seen this, I know Carmela said she loves the cartoon. Check it out. You can find it in anywhere. It's a great thing. Especially my kids grew up with it, and they loved it too. I grew up with it, and I made them grow up with it, so they loved it. And I didn't want to play like more of it. I just wanted to show you exactly what it looked like. Before I get, Disney, the evil Disney will be on top of me. Who knows? So anyway, so that is that. Let's see. Here's let's see. Is there anything I didn't show you? Let me see. In case you missed it, that's Washington Irving once more. In case you missed him. And he's the father of all this, but he used real events. All right. So that's Sleepy Hollow. What did you think? I hope you enjoyed it. That's the Sleepy Hollow stuff specifically. I think that was pretty fun and awesome. All that stuff, that linked it together. All the real events that were linked together. It makes the story be even more powerful. Hey, Patrick, how are you? Baywatcher, I say he's here. I didn't say hello to him. Let's see, anyone else here that I didn't say hello to? Oh, Suzanne, it's just you don't have to moderate. All you need to, I just need that. I just think it's the smart thing to do, because then I know it's actually you. Someone can make up a Suzanne thing and be a troll, but the way they won't be able to do that, because you'll be blue colored, so I know it's actually you. So there's no reason to moderate. It's just and no one can knock you out either. That's the other thing. No one else can knock you out. So it's good to be a moderator for that reason. That's all. So let me see here. What's I got here? Deborah Roberts, how are you? I didn't see you. Thank you for coming in. I wanted to just say hello to you real quick. What else here? All right. So let's get into our paranormal videos, right? Let's do that. We can't have a show without paranormal videos. We got to show them, right? So let's get into that. All right, let's do that. Let's do our paranormal vehicles. And as like I said, we always do this. We want you to give your opinion, tell me what you think. And how we usually look at these things is we try to see if there's an explanation for them. Do they make, is it a fake? Is it obviously a fake? Is there a real explanation for it? And if we eliminate all those things, then it's possible that it could be a paranormal. It could be an actual documentation of paranormal, but who knows, right? Ultimately, we all have to make our own decision. But it's fun to look at, right? So let's do that. Let's try it. Let's start looking at some of these. I don't have that many, and like I said, they get kind of weak after a while. I think I showed you all the best ones, or the ones that I thought you couldn't come up with an easy description or explanation for. So they get kind of weak after a while, but so what? We'll still go through them. Okay. All right. Nah, Susan Ann, don't worry about it. But let me just, if you think they're fake, you guys think they're fake, let me know. All right. So let's try this. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let me try this one. Now, this one is from Iceland. All right. Where am I? Here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. Now, there's ice and snow. There's ice and snow because it's Iceland, right? Okay, so now let's watch this. Let me put the sound on. You don't need to hear the sound. Okay. This was kind of hard to see, but it's better to see. You'll be able to see it on the replay. Now, this is a husband and a father and a daughter walking their dog at night, and the daughter sees something up on where it's circled over here, right? And they go in closer. Now look at this. Now they say that is a ghost. I have my doubts. So you tell me what you think. To me, it looks like someone if you've ever been to the circus, it looks like somebody on a high wire on a bicycle, like pedaling on a high wire between the two buildings. Now, I don't know if that's possible, but it looks to me like there's a wire there, and it looks like someone's pedaling along on it. And this is just something else. The end of that, it doesn't mean anything. But there it is again. It looks to me like someone pedaling along a wire. Look at this. Is it me, or do you see like a wheel, like the legs pedaling? Let's see if I can move this out of the way. There we go. All right? Doesn't it look like somebody's pedaling on a high wire? Unicycle, but yeah, unicycle, right? But to me, it looks like it's on a, like if you ever see the acrobats in a circus, they're on a high wire, right? And they have those bicycles, those unicycles on a wire. That's what it looks like to me. So I don't know. So, so that's number one. I don't really buy that one at all. I think that one is just that. I think it's somebody on a wire, like a pedaling. I saw pedaling. I don't know about you guys, but I saw pedaling. So, I'm going to say no to that one. All right. That was number one. All right. Now let's go to number two. Number two takes place in Los Angeles. Yeah, none of these are scary. Like they're not, there's nothing that would scare you, but they're just like questionable. Like what's going on here? All right. This is somebody filming in the street in Los Angeles. Now, watch. over here, like as this car passes. Watch over here against the fence. There's some Spanish speaking people film this, but that what do you think of that? What do you think of this shadow creature or whatever this is going along here, along this fence? It's kind of bizarre looking, if you ask me. Let's see. Like when it wouldn't. There you go. So it's moving, right? It's moving. It comes from behind the car, right, and keeps going. Now, I don't. It's not a shadow from a light source because you'd see the light source, right? If that was a shadow, you'd see the light source there. I don't know what this is. I really don't know what this is. Unless that fence is like see through, and there's something moving on the other side of the fence, and we only see the outline. I don't know. This one kind of puzzles me. So I don't know about that one. Skinwalker. Yeah, that's what they said it was. They said it was a skinwalker, which I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Strange. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Osato said, I'm sorry, Gianni said that is that a car at a light, or are they watching it too? No, that's a car. The cars are coming by there. I don't know. Hey, Todd Father, do you want to come up, Todd Father? If you want, I will drop the link. Arm distance says it looks like the streetlights are casting the homeless guy over their walking. I mean, but I would. So if that's a homeless guy, he's got to be on the other side of the fence, though, right? He's got to be like on the other. It's got to be the fence has got to be so like weak that you could see his shadow through the fence. It's just strange. Um, let's see. Let me drop the link in case Todd Father wants to come up. I have something to show you guys that Todd Father sent me. And I'd like to have him here if I do. But if not, I could still, he gave me permission to show it to you, but I'd like to have him here to describe it if I can. Why can't I paste this link? There we go. All right, there's the link, Todd Father, if you want. Yeah, but Gina, it couldn't be in front of the fence because it disappears. Like it's not a solid thing the whole time. And if you want, I'll show that again while we wait. But let's see. I'll show it again, and I'll show you what I mean by that, if I can. Let's see, real quick, because you could see you can see it. It like kind of disappears at one point, and like see that materialize. See that like its legs were gone at one point, and then it came back. Right now, it comes back again. Right. Like now you see it like kind of fully shaped over here, but before that, at one point it vanished. It's kind of weird. Let's go back before this car pulls up. See, like over here, you see its legs and such, right? And it proceeds, and then look right there, it's gone. The legs are out. The legs are not there, right? Then they come back. So I don't know. Just strange. Very, very strange. All right. Seymour, how are you, my friend? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. All right. Let's go on to our next video here. All right. This one. All right, let's do this one. This is kind of weird. Hold on. Let me get Todd Father on board first. Oh, there we go. How are you doing? How are you?
Good. You want to see something cool? I just got it. Well,
Go ahead.
I just pardon the mess in this room. I destroyed it, but here we go. Oh, not that face. Hang on. Holy moly! Hang on.
In case you guys don't know, which you probably don't, Todd Father just came from a haunted hayride, so he's all scared out tonight.
Not me. All right, let me see if that works. There we go.
Ah, yes.
So that
now,
is
for those of you who don't know what that is a photo booth. Look at that.
the
That's all
360 photo booth. I just put it together now.
pretty awesome. You stand on that, and it takes a 360 photo of you. That's awesome.
A video, actually.
Oh, a video. Okay.
Yeah. So I just got it together now. So
Cool.
pardon the mess in this room. It's kind of like the catch-all of the house, but yeah, this is where I built it anyway. How do
That's awesome.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you vanished. Hold on. Let me see. Let me pin that link. Is it gone already? Where'd it go? The link is gone already? Where's the link? It's gone. Oh, you're back. Okay, cool. All right, here we go.
Sorry about that.
No
Within
problem.
to get this machine and the software I wanted to use for it, I had to get an iPhone. As you've heard of this,
You're still getting used to it. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing with this phone. So this is all like a crash course here.
Carmelo says it's fancy.
Well, like I said, it's going to look a lot better tomorrow when I got the red carpet rolling up to it, and I'm in a setting. You know what I mean? But this is just in my room in the house here that I basically all my equipment and stuff is in. So
welcome, Mick, aka Music Magic. He just got a recommendation to see this while I was watching Doom Metal. I question why. Allow me to discover. All right. Well, welcome. You're welcome to discover. We're just looking at paranormal vehicle videos right now and trying to see if we could debunk them or if we believe them or not. So let me go on to my next one. And then after I'm done with this, I got a couple more videos, and then I'm going to show Todd Father's video. Hold on. All right. Let's see here. Okay, now this one, I call this a creature video. But you tell me what you think of this one. Now this is a couple of guys or a bunch of guys on a hillside, and they start filming in the valley below, and watch what happens. And they say, "Is that a cow?" But look at this thing. It's obviously not a cow, but they say it's a skinwalker.
Where, in the left up there?
No, watch. They'll show it again. Watch. It's going to come up again. It's going to run across the screen from the left along the tree line.
Oh, just some old dude looking for the bathroom or nearest place to shit.
That looks like somebody in a wheelchair. Doesn't it? It looks like somebody like in a wheelchair.
Oh, he looks like just some angry person who's lost.
Like, what is he doing with his arm on the ground like that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just somebody. That's nothing.
I don't know. I don't know. Look at this. To me, it looks like an old dude or in a wheelchair, like racing in a wheelchair. Like his arms are like pushing the wheel.
There's no wheelchair though.
I know, but I think it's maybe it's just it's like
I'm telling you,
obscured. I don't
he's
know.
trying to get somewhere not to crap his pants is what's happening. So he's all hunched over.
It was pretty big too. Look at the size of them. Look at the size of them compared to the trees. So I don't know. They say this is a skinwalker because they're saying that it like turns into a human, right, as it's going along, much like that that video you pointed me to with the dog that supposedly turns into a human. I don't know.
Did you ever find that?
You sent it to me.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so that's that. Let's get on to that one. That was not convincing to me. That could be CGI too. I don't know. That's not really convincing to me at all. What's going on here? There we go. Stop sharing. Here we go. Okay. Now what's my next one? My next one, these next two are kind of weak. I don't know, but I figured I'll throw them in. Let's look at them and see what you think. All right. This is in an abandoned building, this one. And it's, like it's, they say it's, I think it's they say it's a shadow creature or something like that, but let's see. Where is it? Where'd it go? Where the hell did it go? It vanished. Hold on. Let me go in here again. I don't have multiple screens, so this is difficult for me. That's why it takes me it's so awkward because I don't have multiple screens. If I had multiple screens, like Stig's 12,000 screens,
Yeah,
it would be easier.
You're normal. That's why.
Okay. Here we go. I have your video queued up though, by the way. That's going to be easy to do. All right.
Yeah. We'll save that for whenever.
There we go. All right. Now, this one is in an abandoned building, and we'll see what happens here. Let me move this out of the way. Now, they say there's nobody here when they film this. There's nobody in the building. It's an old school. They're going through it, just checking it out.
And that's creepy in the daylight.
It's creepy. Yeah, I know. It's abandoned. And they say that you see this? Right there. Now, watch it. It vanishes. Like, hold on. It comes out and then it goes back in. Like it just vanishes. Now that's not a good view. Let me go back to this is it from the beginning. I'll take this in slow motion here. So that doorway in the back there, and they see this figure come out, and it's just looking straight ahead. It's not like it turns to them or notices them or anything like that. And then it just goes back. It like backs up, right? It's as if it's stepping back.
It's that janitor who just never left.
He just permanently lives there?
Yeah. Some dude still living in there. That's weird, man. I don't know.
That one's kind of creepy. That one is really kind of creepy to me. Because where are the legs? There's no legs on it either. Like, what's going on down at the bottom there? I don't see any legs.
He's got some sweats on or something. I don't know.
All right, so that's that one. So that one, I don't know. That could be anything. All right.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's better than a lot of the other ones you've showed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think the best was that still shot that was taken in the 80s in the cemetery that they proved was not a double exposure. I thought that one was the coolest. It was like it looked like a woman from the 1800s. Okay, and this is the last one I got. This one is this is also in a school, but I think this is in Europe someplace. So let me cue this up and let's see what this is. All right. Now, what this is what this is what creeps me out about this one. This one goes. You'll see a figure come in, and the background is that this is an abandoned school. It's like a college that is no longer used. But watch what the figure does. It goes into the wall. It looks like it just vanishes into the wall. Now watch. It's going to come from over here somewhere. It's going to come walking out here. Here it comes.
Ooh.
Now watch it. It goes into the wall. Watch this. Look. And just vanishes.
That's creepy, man.
That
looks like the best one yet you got.
And then it poof, it's gone.
Yeah.
So,
That's
that
awesome.
one's kind of convincing. I don't know what that is. I have no clue what that is. If it's not a ghost, I don't know. So, so those are the paranormal videos today. Now, to top off the show, to top it off, we're going to show you Todd Father went on a haunted hayride tonight. And unfortunately, for his wife's sake, she got targeted.
She got picked. Yeah, it was me, my wife, my daughter, and her friend on the hayride. It was really cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. It was a fun time, right?
Yeah, they they had a lot of people. They'd come right onto the cart, as you're going to see in a second, or we sat in the middle because they went there last year and they didn't enjoy being like touched and stuff from the people coming out of the woods out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So they made us sit in the middle, but they came right up on the cart there. I just wish the video quality was a touch better. You know what I mean? But it was pitch black in there, so but you'll get the gist.
Yeah, they'll get it pretty easily. Hold on here. All right. Yeah, so it's pretty dark, right? So let's but you'll be able to hear what goes on. You'll see it too. There we go.
There's no volume. There's no volume, ALV.
Oh, you can't hear it?
Can't hear it.
Ah. All right, hold on. I could hear it for some reason. That's bizarre. All right.
I mean, can anybody else hear it? I can't hear it.
Because I got the volume on the clip all the way up. I don't know how to do this because the clip. That's weird. You still can't hear it?
I cannot hear it. That's the best part of it. What are you saying?
Yeah, I know. See, the volume's up. You could see the volume is up all the way. I don't know why you guys can't hear it. It's bizarre. Carmela says, LOL. Can you hear what the guy's saying? Because he's screaming on her. The poor woman is getting screamed at.
Yeah, Paul says he can't hear it.
Can't hear it, yeah.
Can you try to redo it? Like drop it off and...
Can you do it on yours? Can you pull
How?
it up on
How would I do that for my cell phone? Not on my PC, you know.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I could play it on my cell phone in my mic, on my head mic. Let me try that.
Like start them both at the same time, sort of deal?
Yeah, let me see if I can try that.
Let's try that.
All right, turn this volume up all the way. All right. Here we go. Let's try it again. Put this back to the beginning. All right, here we go.
That was my daughter.
Look at me! Look at me! Look at me!
Yeah, my wife just got tortured.
That poor woman.
I don't know if you want to play it one more time. It's up to you.
Let's see.
This one.
My wife just got tortured. My daughter was the one screaming the whole time. I don't know.
Oh, that's who was screaming?
Yeah, because then he went up to her and was like talking to her. Like I was just at the point, like, do I tell the dude, yo, man, back off? But I like, I didn't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? But he spent a good amount of time with her,
Right.
But yeah, she's like, you sold me out. I'm like, yeah, I was videoing you. I'm like, this is going right on YouTube. But
Too funny.
yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went. You know what I mean? All I wanted to do today was get this thing together and get it working. I haven't even tried it with the app yet, so that's next. So,
Okay.
But she's like, you didn't go with us the last 2 years. I said, all right, I'll go. So we just got home not long ago. So, but yeah, I thought
I've never been on one of those things ever. I've never been to one of those. I know when my kids were younger, they went, and my wife took them. I didn't go. I don't know, for some reason I didn't go, but I've never been to one of those things.
Gianni said he seemed a little too into it. Oh yeah, they're totally, like, every actor and actress that was out there was into it. Like even the girl from The Exorcist, I forget her name, with the white dress. She come out of nowhere, was crawling right after it, and jumped right on the back of it with us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
So let me ask you, did they make you sign a release or anything to go
No. Well, I don't know. When my wife bought the tickets online, maybe. Who knows? That's a good question, but not as far as I know, no. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't super long or nothing, but it was cool how they got it all carved out. They had a maze there with people, a corn maze there with guys jumping out at you and stuff. And
Nice.
they also had a haunted house, and I actually bought a bottle of wine there from the farm.
Okay.
I actually DJ'd there last month, and they grow Concord grapes there, and they had a Concord grape flavor because we get them at the warehouse. So I wanted to try the wine, so I'll have to try that. It's probably super sweet if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, if it's Concord grapes, it's definitely going to be super sweet.
Yeah.
So that's the one that you showed on your show? The what do you call the where you were going? That was raining, and they had an apple orchard there. You did the
Yep. That's exactly where it was.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called Becker Farms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a really nice venue. They got a lot of stuff going on there year round. So. But sorry, I just walked into my garage because my dogs are flipping out. My daughter's got a friend over, and her dad, I think, is bringing her what I'm assuming is a sleepover bag, but we'll see. I don't get told none of this.
So Carmela says Linda Blair was the original. Yeah, Linda Blair was the original Exorcist.
Oh yeah, I mean the girl come out of nowhere, out of the woods, and she just like crawling real fast, and then she ran up on the back, and it was pretty cool. There's guys with chainsaws, running around you and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was neat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
cool. All right.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good for a good laugh.
So,
but anyway, well, thank you for coming up.
No problem at all.
I'm gonna end things here, and Sliminy is on, I'm sure. If anyone wants to stay up and continue to watch stuff, he's on now. And I thank you all for coming. Top Father, thanks for jumping up and giving comments,
yes, sir.
as always.
Okay, I see where I leave now. All right, see you guys.
I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, so that's your Legend of Sleepy Hollow episode. I hope you enjoyed it because I enjoyed putting it together. It was fun doing the research and finding out the truth behind the story. So I thought that was pretty darn cool. And, and that last paranormal video was something that lets you think, what is that? Where is that? What is that? That was pretty convincing. So anyway, I won't see you guys for Halloween because Halloween will be over by the time I do my next show. But I hope everyone has a wonderful and happy Halloween. And if you can, read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow because it's pretty awesome. One of my all-time favorites and a great story to read. A great American tale that has lasted for 200 years and will last for probably 200 more, if not longer. So check it out if you haven't read it. Watch the movies, watch the cartoon, get into the spirit, and remember, once you cross that bridge, the ghost is through, his power ends. So there's always a way to beat the ghosts. So anyway, until next time, I say thank you all for joining, and God bless each and every one of you. I will see you next time on the Guild's Friday Night Ghost Stories. Until then, God bless you all. Thanks for joining. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We'll blow out our candles, and we will say good night. Happy Halloween.